Hey, good evening, everyone. Today we're going to do more Zen games. But before I get started, we have Wilson here with me. Wilson is our resident Crouching Tiger, so he's a very good boy. He also wants to leave, so I'm gonna let him go. But anyways, we're gonna briefly kind of go over the changes for today's list. This has been the experimental list that I've been running up until now, just because I don't like testing changes on the main list just because it kind of, I don't know, it influences the stats. It's hard to keep track of, that kind of thing. So this was the list we were running yesterday, and then this has been kind of the results of the last like week of games. I think this day was a little bit. This was the Winds of Eternity testing day, if you can tell. So overall, pretty happy with some of the changes that we've been making. So I finally updated the main list. We'll go to that list now. With this list, basically the changes, let me quickly kind of review, where is it, versions. So we're basically going up on 2 Mauling Keys, up on 2 Biting Breezes, and going down on 1 Harmony the Hunt, 1 Shifting Winds, and then down on 2 Fluster. The idea here is that Flusterfist rarely matters, so Mauling Key just has generally kind of better numbers than Flusterfist majority of the time. Although Flusterfist has like the Swombo upside, and then we're going down on Harmony of the Hunt and Shifting Winds just because they're 1 cost, and I think that there is some room in the deck for just a random like 0 cost for 1 effect. So this effect is very good if you want to keep like a 2-card hand with Transcend and you're trying to Transcend early. So overall, pretty strong. The only downside here is that it's being a 2-block. I also tried Be Like Water in this slot, but Be Like Water, I think as a card is a lot more. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's not as threatening as. So it's more threatening than it actually like matters. So like people are more scared of Be Like Water than Biting Breeze, but uh, Be Like Water like very rarely ever mattered in a lot of my games. Um, so I just rather have the Biting Breeze because I think the Tiger actually does matter marginally a little bit more. What else? And yeah, this is the latest version of the deck. We're keeping up our 29-3, 28 ratio, which I think is really solid. And then one question I got about Mauling Key was whether or not I was just running 2 Mauling Key just because I only have 2 Mauling Key. I will dispel those rumors now and show you all 3 of my Mauling Keys in paper. So it's not that I don't have the Mauling Keys. It is that I'm opting not to run an additional Mauling Key because I think it's clunky. And as for the Mauling Keys, the idea here is in the Zen Mirror, we basically want to flex these with weakest links for more disruption. Yeah, that's kind of the core idea. We're also going down on 2 Swarms. Swamp also kind of flexes with Warmongers into a lot of Rangers and Rune Blades and other kind of stuff. So it kind of seems like an easy like sideboard swap. And then what else? Monkeys I think are also pretty good. It's like New Victor just because it's an annoying breakpoint. You can play it off a 2-card hand. Like Kakara into 5 is kind of like annoying. Like 7 damage, 3 for 7 is pretty alright, especially after getting disrupted. Yeah, that's pretty much the deck. No real changes to sideboard. Again, I think the sideboard's really good. What else was I going to talk about? One card I also didn't consider up until now is like I don't even know if I put this on the Zen diagram of shitty blues, but Tiger Form, how do you spell it? Tiger Form, yeah, like blue Tiger Form incantation is also like potentially a card that could maybe fill the swamp slot. But this card has like a much lower ceiling. It's not an attack, which is a little bit awkward, and then it is a 3-block, which is quite good. So this could definitely like maybe be in the slot as well, or in the Harmony slot. It's definitely a little bit of consideration there. Yeah, but that's kind of the deck, and this is probably what I'm going to stick with for a little bit more, just for testing. Also, if there's any interest in me kind of like doing some kind of like meme Zen decks, I got a backlog of memes Zen decks that we can try out, like Tiger Zen, fatigue zen, that kind of thing. So if there's any interest in seeing those, I could do a meme deck day as well. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Oh yeah, also one important thing to note on mauling keys versus like I'm talking about the Zen board here. If we look at the Zen board, why the mauling keys over like E-Strike? And I think the answer to that question is that E-Strike at least has the draw card mode where you can like dig to your transcend faster if you need to. Whereas like mauling key is just like damage. I don't know. I think E-Strike is like just more flexible in general, but because I mostly want to use E-Strike to draw a card if I have the opportunity to. So yeah, that's kind of my logic there, and let's get into today's games. See it. Let's do a Victor. Let's not do a Victor. Let's do whatever this is. Dory. Dory, we're gonna go second. We can obviously get punished. I don't recognize this name as being one of the fatigue Dories, which I've kind of gotten sick of running into. And then we're just bringing in the sink below, just because it's solid. We want to run Kakara in case they're on axes or hatchets, but they are not. All right, they got Steelblade Supremacy into the Dawnblade. Seems pretty unlikely that they're going to be able to pump by 8, although they could have like Iron Song plus Singing Steelblade. Should be a little annoying. How do they give go again is also a question. So like what's the worst case scenario is like Glint plus Iron Song response or a way to get Iron Song response? I think we just give up the whole hand. We could get punished here. Like it might even be correct to Ardor. But I think we accept the risk. Let's see what they have. It will obviously be a little bit unfortunate if they start their first turn with a counter because it's very unlikely that we're going to be able to get that counter off. Cool. Never punished. Okay. This might be an Ardor just to dig for a Transcend card. Because it's very important to set up Mask into them. And we have the opportunity to banish a Tiger here with the Harmony of the Hunts. I don't hate that. Just a value Ardor. Which again is not ideal, but like we get to keep a sink below as well in Arsenal. So I think this is maybe fine. And we also have played a blue card, so we get a Sacred Art. That's very good. Let's do that. I guess there's no real reason to do this now, but gain a resource. So obviously a very lucky hit there. Now the question is, do we want to Kakara versus Tiger Swipe? I think Tiger Swipe has like slightly more value. But we can kind of like mask it until the end. So let's do that. Or actually, sorry. So sorry, did we do a Shuko trigger already? Let's keep track of this. So we want to do the Kakara after the Shuko trigger just to not line it up. But I think it's still 4 anyways. So I guess it's fine. One thing important to know with Zen is just try to distribute your Shuko and your Kakara trigger. But I guess it lines up poorly either way. So I guess the question was like 2 and a 4 versus 3 and a 3. Okay, so I think I'm actually doing it wrong still. So that's fine. Because now both of these are coming in for 3, which is like not as annoying as like 2 and a 4. So I should have done that first, but ultimately it didn't matter because they didn't block with armor. But again, that's like a micro optimization to think about. If we get to keep the sink below, and then we'll just dig for our next Art of War, I think we're pretty happy about that. All right, we'll get our Tiger Swipe so that they have to block this either with armor or probably with the card as well. So this is kind of like an underwhelming Art of War turn, but this isn't like the pop-off turn. This is just kind of a setup Archie turn. And we did get a little bit lucky drawing the Sacred Art. Like we weren't guaranteed to actually hit anything there. So I think this is still fine though, ultimately. Okay, they're giving us 2 cards, which is a deal here. We have the Sink Below as insurance. Stir the Pot levels, obviously quite good. They have another Steel Blade into something. It's Dawnblade. So the question here is now, how do we play around like Iron Song, or do we even try to play around Iron Song? They have 1 floating. So if they crack bolters, it's not super ideal. The problem with this, like with Steel Blade, is that this is now threatening a pump to 8, which is not great. I almost like double block 6, and then we have the Sink Below as backup, and then the plan is to just CNC on the next turn. I think that's fine. Let's see what they do here. We also take them off Arsenal, so there was the Iron Song that we were worried about. Now they are threatening basically another swing. Now the question here is, do we want to let them crack bolters? I think we do want to if they want to give up the bolters. Oh, but we did give them the Steel Blade trigger. Oh, I forgot about that. Okay, but they now don't have the third bolters. So now their only out here is to basically... Oh, this was terrible. What am I doing? No, sorry. This was bad. We shouldn't have let them hit with this at all, because I was thinking... All right, the thought here was to basically try to get them to pop their bolters to get rid of the threat of bolters. But in doing that, we just give them a card. And now we have to cover anyways. Here, I'm going to bottom the Stir the Pot just so we can draw closer to Art of War. Here, we're just going to Arsenal this. All right, this turn, we're probably giving them a counter, which is okay. Oh, we might be giving them multiple counters here. A little unfortunate. All right, what is this? So they're potentially threatening like 3 counters here. That's rough. So you can theoretically block 8 here. What does 8 do? They could have Twinning Blade, which would obviously be annoying. Most likely they at least have 1 pump, not 2 pumps. We have Path Well Traveled into this. So the question is now, are we in race mode? Or we think we can race them through 3 counters? I shouldn't have let that Steel Blade hit. I think that was probably what might have cost me the game here. Yeah, I think we might have to just try to block this. It's not great. Like, if we let this Glistening hit, it's like pretty much game. Right? And fortunately, it seems like they couldn't push over. But again, we could have very easily gotten punished there. All right, we draw the Art of War. So maybe racing them was potentially fine there. Here, they're not guaranteed to have a way to get go again, so we should block with our Traverse Strides because we want to kill them next turn. This isn't the most amazing pop-up hand in the world, but we do have 2 Harmonies, one of which is probably going to be Pitch, and we do have 2 combo cards, so I think we're kind of fine with this. They're definitely going to get a counter here. Glistening Steel Blade, obviously a very good card against them. Fortunate that this didn't just Omega punish us really bad. They have the Blade Flurry, which is fine. Shifting. So they probably had 1 or 2 of these in their hand last turn, right? All right. Now we are giving them a counter, but we're doing it knowing that we have the Art of War, so definitely okay with this. All right, so let's actually play this like correctly. So let's do a combo count real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so 5 cards. We are running how many combo cards in Adori? We're running 27, 26. And we've seen 5, so roughly 50-50. We have 2 more. So again, roughly 50-50. So let's harmony first and see what we hit. There is like a math thing you can do where, like, I'm not gonna math it out on the fly here, but you can like, if you're statistically more likely to hit a combo card, I think you're supposed to play Harmony first. Although, statisticians in the comments can prove me wrong here. We'll do Buff Banish, hoping to hit into either Descendant or Swam. Swam good here. Do we have a Bonds already in graveyard? No. I don't know if it's Swam in time. Could be Swam in time, actually. It's not terrible. It's just what are we getting? Wait, is this Swamming time? This might be. Alright, well, we're definitely getting... We can get Bonds here. What the fuck is the line here? Let's get a Bonds, because we can Swamp, right? If we had another Bonds Agreeer, this would be a lot better. Now the question is, do we Swam? I think we Swam now. Yes. Swam now. Because all our hand costs 0 at this point, right? So this is fine to happen now, I think. And then this will be our Descending Gust Wave. If we had another Bonds in graveyard, so obviously be a lot better because then we could generate a Tiger, and then that card could also name a card. We could do like double 100 wins after this. So you do like 100 wins, 100 wins. Let's do. Play this out because we make a Tiger as well. So I think the line here is Descendant Bonds getting 100 wins, 100 wins, 100 wins, or Aspect 100 wins, 100 wins, 100 wins. I don't know if this is more damage than just doing Kakara, though. I think it is slightly more damage. Okay, they take it on the chin. That's fine. It's basically a 2-block. We banish 100 wins, getting a red 100 wins. Now we play our Aspect. Again, I don't think I played this game particularly well. We shouldn't have let their bolters pop. Now we do 100. Also, big misplay is that we don't get the BM Tigers, but that's fine. These 100 wins are going to come in for a fair bit. What is this, like 7 damage, question mark? 7 and 8 or something? Am I counting that right? That's pretty good against Adori. Yeah, 7, 8. All right, so we put them to effectively like 10-ish. That's a pretty comfortable position to be against Adori, if I'm being honest. All right, and they're giving us cards as well, so it's probably unlikely that they're going to give us double. Although, sorry, they do have an agility token, so they can give us double counters here if they want. Yep, it's fine though. What does this hand do? probably a blocking hand if I'm guessing. So against Dory, generally all their buffs come in for um, +3 is generally how I play around it. Although like some of them come in for more. Like I think there's like one or two, like Singing Steelblade I think comes in for like +1 on top of that. So I think what I want to try to do here is maybe give up armor and then do 2 into 5 and then Arsenal Harmony and set up for another big turn. Just to deny them counters is the idea. And then if we let them hit, they can pop their Braided Force, so we'll ultimately be in the same position there. So let's do block with our aspects since we can't play it anyways. And the question is if I want to give them any more block. And I think the answer is probably no. If they can pump it over this, I think we're fine with that still because we're keeping tempo. Okay, so they were Singing Steelblade like we talked about. So this card does break the math, obviously. So it pumps it by 8. And now the question is, do we want to block this to deny the extra counter? I don't think we do when they're at 6, so we're going to let them go to 2 counters. And then we're going to keep our Harmony to hopefully just kill them over the next 2 turns. They will have to do some blocking here. Looks like they're going to 5, which is ideal. They're effectively at 6. Okay, now we have face-up Dawnblade. So now we know they don't have any reactions. This on-hit gets go again, so they'll be able to attack again. So we should have to block this here. Question is, what are we blocking with? Probably just want to keep our 100 wins just to send 2 damage, although we can do the same thing with our Tiger Swipe. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, we'll just block 8 here. Right, so they have no reactions, no go again, nothing. So we knock off their counters, which is perfect, and then we'll just send 2 damage back at them. Again, we're just playing the patient game. They're not going to fatigue us at this rate, so we don't have to really worry. And now we see a hand that can kill them. So again, I don't think I played this particularly well, but I think we're still going to get there in the end. You do want to block against Dory. Like Zen is a deck that does like to block occasionally. Here we're just passing because we know we have the kill next turn. Or if it isn't the kill, it's pretty much they're going to have to block with their whole hand and arsenal and have no tempo. Let me refresh. Opponent is just bulling over here. I guess one thing to note that I didn't really consider is that we do have 2 bonds in the graveyard, so we only have 1 bonds left in the deck. Something I sometimes struggle to keep track of because our Descendant obviously gets a lot worse. But I'm glad we were not punished for that. Yeah, we still got pretty healthy bit of stuff we can still tutor in deck. It feels very hard to like do like the graveyard stuff on Talishar. All right, yep, that'll probably just be game. I wonder if there's merit to actually keeping the blue 100 wins instead of doing this. I guess it's fine either way. Doesn't really matter here. Okay, just scooping it up. Makes sense. Oh, we got DIO. We want to go first into DIO so they can't set up items. We're going to do our Mechanologist Asshole sideboard. Playing the Liar. Okay. Yep, this looks good to me. Still debating whether or not Spellfray Gloves are actually correct. Could be, could also not be. Here we have an interesting decision on whether or not we want to try to go for Traverse or whether we want to Arsenal the Art of War. Could also be right to just not give them any filtering here. not entirely opposed to not giving them filtering. This hand's pretty good next turn. And it's like less good on this turn because we're only pushing 9. Let's pass and see what they do. They play out an item off the top. I might be more inclined to attack. Okay, they do play an item off the top. Do we want to respond to that? They have Crown of Providence, so maybe it's worth it to actually just get rid of our CNC. I'm just going to do this to basically just get deeper into our deck for Transcend cards. And the logic here is we also are going to be attacking CNC, so if they block this, they're not going to have any filtering on their hand. If they don't block this, we're sending 6 damage. And then we get to keep an Art War and Arsenal, which is, very important, but obviously it's out of order because we ideally want to Transcend before we Art War. Also seems like they have a no block in hand potentially. Or they're giving us armor, which is also fine. Giving armor on turn 1 is basically the same thing as losing life on turn 1. Generally, I almost would rather just eat the damage than give up armor, but that's just me. Another question here is, do we want to try to do anything with this hand? This is from hand. Okay. I think I do want to do a little bit of blocking here. I'm fine to start with a block here. They haven't played anything off the top. They banished a Spark of Genius. They're down 2 Sparks, which I think is definitely one of their bigger threats in the matchup. But our hand blocks really well, so I'm not upset giving up some cards here. Here, we're going to block with our Swam, just so we can keep Eastric Harmony. If they want to send another threat, they basically have the choice between keeping Arsenal or keeping their Boom Grenades alive. And again, if we can avoid taking extra damage against the DIO this early, we're pretty happy with that. Alright, so they have 2 wasted Boom Grenades, which we are stoked about. And then we just get to send E-Strike for 7, because our Arsenal is already kind of set, so no need to draw an extra card. And again, their Boom Grenades are going away, and they don't actually have the adaptive plating on the legs to actually cash in the block from these. So, again, very, very happy about this. They're also using up their armor for filtering, which is questionable. One question I get a lot is why get rid of why not run Tide Flippers over Shuko? And generally against DIO, these games last pretty much 4 or 5 turns. So the idea is that you want to have just one big pop-up turn as opposed to having Shuko for the long game. Because ultimately, the maximum value Shuko is going to get is 6, whereas Strides is a 1 block, and then also I don't even know how to evaluate what a Crouching Tide. It's 3 value, but it feels like it's way more than that just because you have a fodder card for Art War. Alright, they did play an item off the top, which is why they have 2 action points. Hitting us with an Outpace. What does our hand do? Hand doesn't do very much. Do we want to try to block this? I don't think it's entirely wrong. Because our hand just doesn't do anything really. Obviously, they're probably going to get this Boom Grenade over, but I want to basically keep making them send stuff. If they have a 0 for 3 or whatever, they have another Boom Grenade. Okay. Fender Bender. and they have to pay for that as well. Okay. So DIO is thinking this is going to hit, but we're, again, just fine blocking out the boom grenades. Yeah, we're pretty happy with this. Choose for 1, or for 2, rather. Yeah, we're pretty happy with that exchange. Like, our hand wasn't anything to write home about. We finally found our first transcend card, so now we have, like, reason. We've also eaten up 4 of their boom grenades. 5 of the boom grenades. So, alright, here we see Spellfree Gloves coming in clutch, and they banish a T-Bone off the top. I think most DOs are on 3 blue T-Bone, if I'm not mistaken. But I know, like, some people just run it just to be annoying, like red T-Bone, yellow T-Bone. Which is definitely a thing you can do. But, again, we don't really care here. Also, looks like they played this off the top. I don't think backup Protocol Blue is a card I see very often. The problem with this is that they use it to get the T-Bone. They have to close the combat chain, and then we can reblock with the Spellfree. Sure. So they have the third. So they banish the blue T-Bone, and then this is the last blue T-Bone in the deck. So we'll block here with Kayo, because again, we want our threat of like the big pop-up turn, and we're almost set up for it. Again, Zen State is pretty good in DIO, but again, I think preserving Traverse and Strides are more important. There's maybe an argument to giving up Strides there. I could see that. Okay, they have a yellow 0 to 60, which we don't care about because it's a 0 for 3. Again, this is not a typical turn for a game against DIO. I feel like against a lot of DIO, Heist is fine. So they can get back a blue Boom Grenade or Techlocore. That's annoying, but we do want to just transcend and try to kill them next turn, so maybe we're fine with giving them a Techlocore. I feel like if our hand wasn't the way that it is, it would maybe be right to block, but yeah, fuck it. We're going to say no blocks. They want to get their Techlocore back. I'm fine with that. They don't have an arsenal, so they're not going to be able to use the mana super effectively next turn at least, hopefully. So yeah, it's obviously like not ideal to give DIO a free Techlocore, but we should be able to kill him the next turn. So not this coming turn, but the turn after, because we already have the Art of War. Here we're gonna do levels. Do we have bonds actually? Hold on a second. Is it better to do Descendant versus? We get our first bonds in graveyard versus leveling. I think it might be better to get the first bonds in graveyard against a DIO. Yeah, we're gonna do that instead. Because then we can also get chase off of the bonds and do chase aspect. Is my logic, as opposed to just leveling, and then if we levels, we're not guaranteed to get a Descendant wave. So here we're holding priority, so we can wait for the damage to apply, get our free damage in, and then we drop. Pass, turn off full control because it's annoying. We'll get our first bonds online. Then we'll get our chase the tail. Then we just have this nice little chase aspect line into needle for 2. Yeah. So they have to kill us next turn, basically, which I don't think is very likely. Not on a 4-card hand and not at effectively 28, right? Alright, if I had to predict, I think they're going to do 18 damage to me next turn. That's my guess. Let's see if I'm right. Oh, this hand's gasoline. I'd love to see this hand. Oh, this hand's so good. Fuck yeah. The problem is we don't... it's like fine. The problem is we don't have Kasaya to just generate a million resources, but... Okay, they got High Octane, and then what? Did they play a new backup protocol? I was not paying attention. Played backup protocol, presumably off the top, because they have 2 action points. Okay. This is fine. Pulse Wave is A-okay. Alright, well, they showed us the Pulse Wave, so now we get to play around the Pulse Wave. And by playing around the Pulse Wave, I mean blocking with Traverse and Strides at our earliest convenience, just so that even if they somehow boost 4 cards, we can show them 4 instants and they'll cry. Or 4 no blocks, rather, and they'll cry. Alright, here we see a red Boom Grenade, which is fine. Alright, so we know about the Pulse Wave. How are they paying for the Pulse Wave? So they probably have like a blue in hand. If they blue Techlocore, backup protocol blue gets what? T-Bone question mark? I mean, we're just reading the damage off this, right? So they've done effectively 8 so far. So I think I guessed 18. We'll see. They have another... Oh, they're activating. Okay. Getting what? T-Bone or Blue 060? I don't think this card's as impressive. I think the red one's a lot better. It's fine, though. Pulse Wave. Show them these 2 because they're known quantities. Deal an extra 4 here, so they're at 12 damage total. This makes 14, and then they can gun. Okay, so I was off on the estimate. They can do like 22 damage or something here. But we're still okay with that. It's a pretty good turn, honestly, on 4 cards. Not too bad. But we're just gonna like absolutely blow them out of the water next turn. So I think it's correct not to levels here. Oh, I guess they technically get me to 2. It's a little scary. That's pretty good. That's a lot better than I thought they were gonna do. I guess High Octane makes that more likely. Anyways, we're gonna pitch. Cat, what are you doing? Cat's being bad. Anyways, we're going to start with Orihone, pitching our levels because we have to. Although we arguably don't have to. I think it's still right too, though. We'll let this resolve first. We have our backup chi, so that's why we're allowed to Orihone. Then we'll do our homage. Do buff banish. Get our bonds. We can double bonds here. Yes. Well, no. Cannot double bonds because we need another descendant effect. Okay, we hit our Sacred Art off the top. That's fine. I mean, this is still just fine. I'm not gonna think about it too hard. Descendant. Do Descendant bonds. Something, something. Kill them. Like, there's no way they live this. Can get aspect seems fine. I am impressed at their last turn, actually. They did quite a bit of damage. On a 4 card hand. Like, questionably 5 card hand. But yeah, they have no blocks, so they're not living this. GG's. There you do needle, needle, tiger, tiger, E strike for 8, whatever. Bonk. Good game, my friend. All right, recording's at 40 minutes. Let's do one more. If I know they're combo Bolton, the problem is with like Boltons in the classic constructed queue is that 95% of the time they're playing the armory deck, and I don't think that's a particularly good matchup for them. Like if I know they're on combo Bolton, that's a lot more even. We already played an Azuri yesterday, and there is actually an Azuri in the top 8 of Pro Tour Amsterdam, which is impressive. So maybe it's not a complete meme deck, but we'll just create our own lobby and see who we get. I've been wanting to try to get more victors on stream, but it's hard. It feels like it's hard to find victors on Teleshar. I was a victor player back in the day. Enigma, let's see if they want to stick around, but we generally want to go first into Enigma. Our Enigma board is literally just the main board. If they want to play it out, I'm willing to play it out. Sure. This is like a very free matchup. I say it before I lose. Of course. One important thing with Enigma is you have to be a little bit conscious of what their glove slot is. So you do have to play around Waves Aquamarine. It's one thing. I'm kind of just find a pass here. Let's see what they do. Let's Arsenal spinning wheel kick probably. Okay. This is fine here. We just want to transcend against them. This doesn't really do very much. We get to preserve back in the deck anyways. So it's basically like we like trenched it. Alright, Swam is hit off the top, obviously not ideal. Actually, we probably won't leave it in graveyard because I forgot Harmony goes to graveyard as well. So we'll put our Harmony back in just so we have more ceiling against Enigma in a resource. Then what are we doing? We can chase aspect. Seems pretty alright. Alternative is like Descendant Bond spinning, but we'd have to pitch the chase the tail to do that, so it's less ideal. So. But this is fine. This presents some big damage. We've transcended, which is obviously the first step to success against anyone. Looks like they might be on a more like disruptive version of Enigma as well. Although I don't know if like all Enigma decks just run CNC. Maybe they do. Here we have a pretty good hand, but I don't think it's the pop-off hand. Well, actually, is it even good? Orion doesn't really do very much here. It's like a fine hand. Okay, they've transcended, which is good for them, I guess. Here, what are we going to see? You're going to see buff go, draw go. Sure. Again, against vanilla damage, against Enigma, it doesn't really matter. We got the shimmers, which is fine. We can obviously pop that with a weapon. Here, what do we want to do? So we can do 3, 2, do something with E-Strike, Arsenal, Orihon. What's the play? We do 3, 2, E-Strike for 7. Alternatively, we can bottom the Orihon if they want to try to like preserve this board state. Oh, but the problem with E-Strike is that we want to kill Shimmers, ideally. Do we care about Shimmers? Maybe we do. What if we did 5 goes into 2 into 3, kill Shimmers? I don't need that. Let's try that. 2 goes at them. Obviously, we want to threaten their ward. Okay, they let it die, which is fine. So we'll do the 3 first at them, and then we'll finish with the 2 on the Shimmers, just for damage efficiency. And then we'll not let the Shimmers just stick around, just because it is like a little bit spooky. They get to keep a 5-card hand, which is fine. Next turn, we're gonna probably make the same exact play, barring any disruption. Phantasmaclasm. That's fine. They probably take E-Strike. It's a little annoying. Okay, Phantasmaclasm. Phantasmaclasm might have just killed him. That's hilarious. Oh my god. Wow. Incredible. XD. Alright, let's try this game. Alright, we got Bolton. Oh god, is it gonna be a combo Bolton or is it gonna be like a fake Bolton? We'll use our real Bolton sideboard. Hopefully it's Sabers. Not Sabers. Shit. Okay. Well, now you all can see how I pad my Tower stats. Are you all happy? We'll start with our 100 wins because we want to set up a combo card in graveyard, especially if we're doing Descendant Bonds this turn, which we are. And then we can just Arsenal the Biting Breeze. Or we can Arsenal whatever we draw off the Rising Sun. Oh god, I've been exposed. I've been exposed by the Bolton Armory deck. Although I don't think these are in the Armory deck, but I think this is like an upgraded list someone slapped together, probably. Sure. Do Rising Sun, we get Passover. I think we'd rather have Passover in Arsenal than this, so we'll do that. Get Resource, we'll Close Chain. We'll do Descendant now, because we don't want to just give them information on what we're tutoring, but obviously they probably know. This is fine. It's fine to set up a Bonds in graveyard turn 0, and we're pressuring their hand to the point where they're not going to be able to meaningfully filter. Again, we are wasting some of our premium threats, but we're also like digging deeper to our war, so I'm kind of okay with this. I'm taking a little bit of chip here. Yeah, take 1 into 3. Unless they want to block the last card. The reason I go first in a Bolton is just so they can't set up Soul, and they also have like a lot of attack reacts in the form of like, what's that card? Courageous Steel Hand. What Bolton cards all sound the same. I forget what it is. It's that might be the card name. I don't know. Here they're gonna come at us with a buffed attack, but we don't really care, especially since this one doesn't have any on hits. I think this version of Courageous Steel Hand. I was right. Again, this is fine. Against Bolton, the on hits I care about are like Snatch, or specifically this version of Bolton. I think this version runs like 4 or 5 snatches, like Yellow Snatch and Red Snatch or something. Again, this is fine here. They're not going to give go again, so this is basically threatening a Soul, but if we block, obviously it gets pumped, so I'm not really inclined to care. What's our play? Our play is probably Levels, pitching but Path Will Travel, Transcend, get a card, like a 4 cost, Arsenal Long Key seems reasonable. Or, sorry, 1 cost. Yeah, I like that. Banish, doesn't matter. Because we want to ultimately end on a CNC. Or actually, we don't want to end on a CNC, right? So what is the new play here? We probably want to just get something that's 0 cost for... So we can play like thing into Monkey. Maybe it's Tiger Swipe. Logic being that let's do buff. Because we already know what our arsenal is going to be. Right? We want our arsenal CNC, so we do buff goes. Because drawing a card with the chain enders in our hand, drawing a card actually isn't guaranteed to do very much. And 2 damage guaranteed is obviously 2 damage. Okay, they're blocking with their Halo. It's fine. Do Tiger, and then they might not think that the Tiger Swipe actually matters, but it does technically in this situation. Maybe a small upside for Monkey in this version of the list at least. Yep, so they let it hit, so we can technically threaten 1 more extra damage here. Sweet. Get our extra damage, Arsenal CNC, things are looking pretty good. Just need to find Ardor, and then we win. Important note about Harmony is that it's a non-attack, so also very good into Bolden if they want to. This is also unbuffed, so we don't really care about this. Because if we block it, we buff it, and then they can give go again. So yeah, we don't care. Unless they have Beacon, obviously. They have Beacon, they have Beacon. Sure. Here, what do we want to do? It's probably involves pitching some of this. Like, what if we... Is there a way to overpitch here in a way that's, like, beneficial to us? I feel like I'm not seeing it. Do go again. Right, blocking with armor, which is good. Spirit Arena is not ideal. I don't think there's actually a way, because if we pitch a red to the levels, we don't get go again, obviously, so we have to pitch a blue there. So maybe we're just hyping ourselves and we're fine with that. I'd rather do that than give up Arsenal. So yeah. Again, we're disincentivized. Maybe the play actually was to block with Harmony last turn. Does that make more sense? Maybe. Yeah, maybe that makes more sense. I didn't really think about it very much. Here, what do we have for next turn? This doesn't matter, obviously. If they have Lumina, they have Lumina. Yeah, we're fine letting one. They only have access to 1 Lumina at most. Sure. Snatch, illuminate. Snatch at home. It's potentially fine. Yeah, we can just play out our we can just play out our hold hand next turn, and then just hope to dig for our Aurora. Yeah, we're not killing us very fast. I mean, we're at the same life total, obviously, but we have 7 armor still, so. We just do 4 into 3 into 2 into 4 into 1 into 4. It's pretty good. Pop an armor here, which is obviously quite good. We do the aspect now. Pretty solid turn. Okay. This is probably going to have to just do for the pop-off turn. We have our buff. They only have one soul, so if they beacon, this doesn't kill us. So I think we're fine letting this hit for now. It's a little scary. Lumina Lance. What the hell is this card? Target light attack when it hits draw a card. Okay. So it's like 0 mana on hit, draw a card. Is that okay? I think that's okay. Basically cycled itself, I guess. But like -1 to soul. Here they don't have a way to give this go again unless it's beacon, and if it's beacon we don't die, I don't think. So we're fine just blocking here. Yeah. Seems good. Alright, therefore we're probably gonna kill him. Again, we didn't find our Art of War this game, but it's fine. We can just use this as Art of War home, and we hit anyways because we're amazing. Yeah. We had double bonds there too. So yeah, pretty easy one. Let's see if we can find one more. I don't know if I want to do another Dory. Let's see. Some people have accused me of not playing into enough Vincent. I don't know if I want to go bully of Vincent though. Should we go bully as Vincent? We can. Alright, let's go bully of Vincent. Fuck it. We want to go first in Vincent so they can't set up Rune Chance. And then I don't even think it's correct to run AB into them. I think you just want to kill them as fast as possible. We'll bring in our Warmongers, I guess, over Swarms. Just for extra bad manners. We'll start with our Hunterwinds into Aspect and then see what they do. Already got damage in, which is fantastic. Got 2 damage in. Incredible. Alright, that's all we'll take. Blood Tribute. Oh yeah, I've been seeing this card a lot. This card's cool. I guess it's a way for them to like set up without having that. So now I think since we know they have a widespread, we want to put Chase the Tail in our soul. Just because we want to keep our drop at basically like any cost. Tear through the portal. Let's go again. Sure. Here we have 8 damage. We are okay with this, I think. We can do a lot of stuff next turn. We're fine with this hitting. I just banished top card of our deck. It doesn't really matter. That Warmonger is pretty good. Okay, and then they set up Rune Chance at the end. A little annoying. So here, we know they probably want to try a widespread us next turn, so let's see if we have a way to utilize all our cards effectively. Do we want to just develop out of bonds? I don't think that's wrong. So we'll pitch our Tiger Swipe, we'll drop. They want a Blood Tribute, that's fine. We have to do this now, obviously, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to go again. Alright, they are banishing like crazy. That's fine. So levels, we need pitch in response to levels. We can just let them eat the Chase the Tail. Alternatively, we can get an Aspect so that what? Does this banish the arsenal or destroy? Banishes a card from arsenal. So I guess what do we rather have in our graveyard? Dissonant Bonds or Chase Aspect? It's probably Dissonant Bonds just because we already have Aspect in our graveyard, right? Okay, let's do, yeah. We'll do go again because it's the only mode we can choose. 100 wins, I guess. Oh, I guess maybe with aspect we get extra damage, but I don't know if that's worth it. This is fine. So we take 4 damage off Rune Chance, and then Widespread obviously destroys our arsenal, which is fine. Question is, do we want to keep anything in Arsenal? And probably we do, so we probably want to just send CNC in the next turn. They have Crown, which is fine. Just keep another CNC. Yeah, we know our Arsenal's blowing up anyways, but it's fine. They've had a pretty good draw. Double Blood Tribute, pretty spooky. Yeah, they're obviously going to crown this. Pretty okay hand. Alright, what is the play from them? Probably Deathly Whale, Runic Reckoning, Moss Guys. So at the end of this chain, they're getting 1 Rune Chant. And they obviously can do more. I think next turn we want to try to Zen State them. This is coming for 8. Can't block 8. It's maybe fine. Yeah, I think this is fine. We're going to take a bit of damage here, because they can also do another attack. Sure. So we're dropping precariously low, but I think we're still fine, in a fine position. Oh yeah, we have armor, so we're at effectively 13, and we're going to try to make a Zen State, or potentially less with the Zen State. So we want our Arsenal or Harmony ideally. So start with what? Start with Harmony Hunt so we can do Chase. Maybe we'll get the last Chase out of our deck. I think that's fine. Pitch our 100 wins. Then finish on CNC seems reasonable. Or actually, we want to Transcend, right? Maybe. Maybe Transcending is better. Wait, can we still Chase? Can't do everything. We'll send in the Tiger for sure. And then let's see how they block, or if they block at all. The CNC doesn't do anything. I think it's still worth it just to send it. So you can Arsenal or Harmony. I don't know, Zen State. Hopefully it's kind of annoying for them with all their Rune Chants. This is a go-off hand. So hopefully as long as we live through this, which we should be able to. Take no damage from the Rune Chants, obviously. And then I think we want to block here just to deny them even more Rune Chants. We'll lock with all our armor here. They obviously can like Creeper or something, give it a go again, and then play like Widespread, which is maybe fine. All our Rune Chants basically do nothing here. Yeah. Should be game. We'll see. Do we want to play a second Harmony out? I think second Harmony is pretty reasonable. Does at least 3. Because we can get Bonds, Transcend, make a resource. We need at least 2 resources for Descendants. Yeah, let's try to hit something. We don't need to hit something again. We'll get our Descendant now. Where's our Descendant? Here. We'll do Passover. We actually might want to give them Blood Debt here. What's an annoying thing to give them? This could also be wrong. Probably just Phantom Wraith, honestly. It's like vanilla Blood Debt. Let's do... What are we getting out of our graveyard? I don't know. Getting what? Like aspects? Can't get another chase because we already have one in banish. Descendant and bonds obviously don't do anything, so it's probably aspects. Seems okay. Or 100 wins. I guess they're roughly the same. Let's get 100 wins, I guess, to leave a 3 block in the deck is maybe the only consideration there. I think this just barely gets there. That was a close game. Maybe closer than it should have been. But again, no. Name a better combination. Vincent and Dying to Blood Debt. Alright. We got... I was gonna say if there's a DIO game, maybe we got room for one more, but I might just wrap it up here. Maybe I can do one more. Let's do a Kayo. We haven't done a Kayo in a while. We obviously want to go second into Kayo. And then board remains the same. We want weakest link into Kayo, obviously, because it's quite strong. Although they do have like pretty good armor. Here, what we're trying to do is set up our awkward cards into the graveyard, so we're just gonna block here. Then we can save a blue in our hand and a chase the tail. It's like a fallback. So here we'll now block with chase because it's a combo card and we want in the graveyard. So get some good filtering here. Here, what does this hand do? This is a 100 wins needle CNC hand. It's pretty alright. Arsenal aspect. Alternatively, we had... No, there's not really a good way to get rid of this aspect. I was saying alternatively we might have been able to arsenal like the 100 wins, but then we're just like double needling, and we don't know that we want to double needle necessarily. I guess we should have needled first, and then we could have seen. Maybe that makes sense. No transcend card is a little bit unfortunate. Here we're just gonna probably eat the 7. This is another kind of awkward hand. We'll eat the 7 here and see what they do. Part of me almost wants to just try to set up a blue instead of going for like CNC or something. Take some damage here. Ending on CNC, so this is why we held back blocks. I kind of like just setting up like levels or harmony in Arsenal. I wonder which was better. I think generally levels is maybe better. Although harmony has like the upside of like being a 0 cost. I think it seems reasonable. Let's do needle. Since they didn't block the first one, we obviously want to do the second one. Finish on an aspect. All right, we need to try to find a transcend card here. Unfortunate. Oh, getting risky with it. Next turn, what are we doing? We are probably wanting to block some more of this hand and then weakest link. Oh, they get an offhand though. They discarded a weakest link and they discarded a okay. So we have 2 bonds in graveyard, which is a little dicey. Yeah. Can't complain about taking 3 damage against the KO though. And you might think it's a little bit awkward to just have a oh. Interesting. What I was gonna say is you might think it's a little bit awkward to send weakest link without having like you obviously want to maybe have a clear arsenal for weakest link just to have like the opportunity to draw a card, but a lot of the times it's fine enough just to discard a card from them if you like your arsenal enough. But again, I guess like this is still kind of works out here. The only problem with this game is we're not transcending. That's probably where, if we're gonna lose this game, that's probably why. Um, but yeah, you can definitely still lose to a KO. It's been known to happen. They've used their flashback though, which we're pretty happy about. Let me make sure I can refresh. Oh, okay. Cool. Arsenal are weakest. Now we got double transcend. It's obviously fantastic. And then popping sash is obviously not fantastic. So here, are we Zen stating here? This might be a Zen state. Zen state into needle needle or something. Is coming for 7. Alternatively, we don't Zen state and do what? The Zen state's not very valuable against KO. Does like maybe like 4 block-ish. Is that worth it? Okay, well we're definitely blocking with it at minimum. Like we're probably blocking like here. Because we have 2 transcend cards, we're more fine letting them go. I think it's fine to not make a Zen state here because the idea is maybe we. Well, it's so awkward because we want to ideally Arsenal have a card of Arsenal on the pop off turn, but if we weakest link next turn, then we don't. All right, let's pass to reactions. See what they do. Do we want to do this now? I guess is the question. Maybe. Fuck it. We'll do it now. I don't know if this is right. So we obviously pass reactions. We're no longer, this is a resolution step. Let's see how good Kasaya is against KO. It's probably not very good, but I mean, this is fine. Oh, we do technically have the opportunity to keep an Arsenal if they can't block the weakest link. So that could potentially be really annoying for them. Okay, the Zen State blocked 4 damage there. I can't complain about that necessarily. And they're on a 4-card hand next turn. This is pretty ideal, honestly. Yeah, we're gonna send weakest link here. It's obviously not great if it like whips or we don't get to keep an Arsenal, but KO has a lot of no blocks. Looks like they are blocking here, which is fantastic for us. So our Zen State got like 5 value. It's pretty alright. On this hand, do we want to try to go for it? So we don't know for a fact that we're going to have Art of War. That's one thing. So maybe the correct block is just block Traverse and see what happens. But the game is going to be over like next turn. So maybe we're fine just doing it now. Hoping to draw into an Art of War, which is pretty likely. We have 3 in our deck, so we're drawing 3. Yeah, I think this is probably reasonable. Like we don't like I wouldn't block strides if it was earlier in the game and we didn't know for sure that we were gonna need to banish it, but I think it's fine now. Alright, as instant goes away, let me turn off this full control. Okay. Not exactly what we're looking for. Okay, is there a Swam opportunity here? I do not believe so, because we have 2 bonds in graveyard. Although it does buff our 100 wins. So that's maybe a consideration. We can do it, because we've played a blue card. We needle needle, green that tips the scale, but then we don't have a card to tutor for, so that's terrible. Okay, so it's not a swamp opportunity. Sorry, swammers out there. We will still. I don't know why we're needling. Actually, we'll do 1 needle, I guess. Sure. I guess we're needling to grain it. Maybe was the idea. I don't know. I'm just gonna do it again. All right, here we get them in there with the block though, so the needle doesn't pop. Then we'll get our bonds. It's kind of weak. We get chase. We have a last chase the tail, right? Yeah, should. Then we can E-strike draw a card theoretically. Is that better than 100 wins? I think so. We got our Shuko trigger line up pretty well as well. Okay, we drew another E-strike. Alright, it was pretty alright. This hand's kind of dookus though. What is even our play next turn? It's like E-strike 5. We can do E-strike for 5 into weakest link if we wanted to. Does that eat their whole hand? It might. The alternative was we E-strike for 7 and then we block something. Oh shit. I'd rather just like threaten to kill them. Maybe it's like needle E-strike. Then they have to block out. Can we do that? We'd have to give up. Let's give up the weakest link because we can't really realistically cast it on this hand anyways. So we drop down to 4. We have Shuko up, so we're effectively at 6, and then we're threatening lethal into KO. I think this is reasonable. Hopefully our needles can get some value here by making them block. There might also be merit to buffing power instead of drawing a card here. Okay. They are popping needle, which is good. If they pop another needle, I definitely want to... So draw a card, eats a card from their hand, and puts us on our arsenal, which is obviously very important. If we buff power, they have to block 2 cards, but then we get -1 card. I think it's worth buffing here actually. Because KO on a 1-card hand is like terrible, right? Although looks like they had 2/2 blocks in it. Yeah, okay. Close game. I'm gonna wrap up the video here. Hope you all enjoyed, and then if you have any like suggestions for the channel or anything else, let me know. Any questions? Again, I'm liking the current version of this list, and let's kind of quickly go over our results. Wait, did we win every game today? Damn. That's pretty good. Questionable matchup spread. I think I like some variety though. Like I think Dory, DIO, Zen are all like meta matchups. KO is also kind of like a meta matchup. Vincent, Bolden, and Enigma are kind of like trash though. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you.